All right, so I made my lunch the other day, really actually yesterday, and there's a little jerk chicken and a side of just sauteed vegetables. So yeah, I know I am not of Jamaican descent, but just made it easy on myself. Got this jerk seasoning stuff that I use from time to time, and got it done. So anyway, another reason why I'm doing these videos, y'all, I promise you, I'm not trying to make a cooking channel by any means. I do like to cook, but I'm not trying to make a channel like that. That's not my interest. But what I am trying to do is I try to make my lunches simple. I'm trying to, I do a pretty good job already of eating at home. Thankfully, I work from home, so it makes it a little bit easier for me. But I try to make things a little simpler for me, and that means that I make simple meals. Typically for lunch, I'm doing like, maybe some protein, maybe a little meat or something like that, and some non-starchy vegetables. And so you see, I just finished cutting up a green bell pepper, and I got some red onion. Purple to me, but I don't know what authority said they're purple. I mean red, but I think they're purple. But I digress. But anyway, a meat perhaps, and then definitely a side of non-starchy vegetables. The purpose for that being, again, I don't really start eating until lunchtime. Usually I actually go ahead and get a little coffee then, and then I'll follow it soon after with my lunch meal. And I'm not doing a whole lot of heavy carbs and stuff around then, because even though I do exercise and whatnot, I don't believe I really need that much of carbs or carb heavy foods like that over the day. You see, I'm adding some red bell pepper here. I love bell pepper, especially when it's been sauteed, not killed whenever it's sauteed up, but just kind of like just sauteed enough to where it kind of starts to it remains crispy, but it's not like raw crispy, and it kind of pulls out some more of the flavor. So to that point, but anyhow, I don't think I really need a whole lot of starchy foods during the day, because I can just use my body fat. That's what I've been using in the part of the day that I haven't been eating. And I don't think even with my exercise routine that I can justify having a lot of carbs around then. And I'm gonna. My goal is not to be just dogmatic about it, to not be legalistic, but to do this for the most part, to make this kind of like what I do. So anyhow, so you see again, I have green bell pepper, I got red bell pepper, I have uh, red onion, and I'm gonna add some carrot here, and you'll see how I cut those. But basically, I'm just gonna use, after I get all this stuff cut up, I'm gonna use a wok and kind of saute it up in some olive oil. Like I said, not too long, just enough to start to pull some more of the flavor out, and then do that. But yeah, so anyhow, it's all about making it simpler. A lot of times we kind of feel like we have to do some sort of fancy meal, or you got to have something that has like some sort of fancy sounding something, some quinoa or some avocado, or I'm not, trust me, I'm all for that. I like those things. But my point is, we make it too complicated, and we make it too expensive too. And if you know me, I'm not the type of person, I like to eat good food, but I'm not necessarily one who likes to spend a whole lot of money if I don't have to. And I just know from experience, and I see I got a little straggling carrot that rolled on the counter there, but we're gonna make it do what it do. I believe the counter was clean. We do wipe the counters every day. But anyhow, I just know from experience that you don't have to spend a whole lot of money on eating out. On eating well, eating healthily. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It's a fallacy, and especially for those of you who may not be used to eating healthily, you may feel that way. And a lot of times you look at pictures and stuff like that online, and the food looks expensive, um, but it doesn't have to be if you just kind of simplify it. Because ultimately, if you want to eat healthy, the main thing you need to keep in mind is that your meals need to be, and look at those beautiful vegetables there, beautiful. And yes, I don't show me cleaning the chicken, but I did clean it in that sink you see right there. And there's my jerk seasoning that I use, that Grace brand. But anyhow, the main thing to remember when it comes to eating more healthily is that you just want to eat as close to natural as possible. So it doesn't mean that you need to find exotic ingredients. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that you need to try to eat mostly food that is as close to natural as possible. And you also need to make sure that the amount of energy, so to speak, and I just say that for carbs, that you consume makes sense for you. You know, if you're like not as active as the most of us are with desk jobs and whatnot, then you probably don't need a whole lot of carbohydrate in your diet. And my hands are clean. I know you see me rubbing the seasoning, the marinade into the chicken, but my hands are clean doing that. But yeah. So it's just about being as close to natural as possible. So you can literally go to the grocery store and get just a few of the vegetables and things that you like to consume, and you can cook those. Cook them simply. Make sure you use a good oil, coconut oil, olive oil. Saute up your vegetables. If you get meat, first of all, you don't need a whole lot of meat. And I'm not eating all these legs at one time. I'm just gonna eat like two of them. But you don't need a whole lot of meat. You just a little meat. You can like add it as like a some chicken breast or something like that you kind of cut up. You may even do a half a breast. You may not even need all that meat. Or you can do some beans or something like that. But the main thing is it's the natural aspect. It's not about expense. All right, so these are the cooked legs here. By the way, these marinated for about maybe an hour or so. So that's the finished product there. And then you see I'm sauteing the vegetables here in this part. I had already been sauteing them, and the chicken had been cooking for quite a while beforehand. Was it 370? I started on 400 just to get it going, but I cooked it on 375 for maybe about an hour or so. 30, 45 minutes maybe to be more accurate. But yeah, and then I added a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of pink Himalayan sea salt, and a little bit of cayenne pepper to my vegetables. Just a little bit, just to give it a little kick. And so this is it. And so I actually end up making a whole lot of vegetables. But the thing about eating vegetables is it's not going to be as filling as eating carbs and stuff like that. So I help myself. Like I really do help myself with these. So in other words, I ate all of them. But there you go. Not complicated. Ultimately, it didn't take me too long, and let's eat.